When I first stepped onto this campus in the fall of 1996, becoming the commencement speaker was not on my mind. Drury has always been, though, for me, a place of hope, a beacon light of hope, and a place that I could grow in knowledge and confidence, where I could make mistakes and learn from them, and where I could gain a better understanding of the world and our role in finding solutions to its complex problems. At that time, I was an idealistic, at-risk, impoverished son of a single mother, and I'd just been denied admission to 3 other area colleges, each of them essentially telling me, "We don't have room for someone like you." Y'all might imagine what that felt like. The previous year, my family had fallen apart, leaving my dad in California and my mother, 2 brothers, and I living in poverty in Springfield. We were living on my mom's student loans as she worked to complete a bachelor's degree, the same bachelor's degree that she discontinued decades earlier when I was born. Among the requirements in the divorce decree were regular trips back to see my dad in California, and I can remember one time when my mom picked us up from the Springfield airport. She had no money then, not much gas in her 1982 2-seater truck, so she tried to time the pickup to take advantage of the 30-minute free parking window. But a delay in the deboarding process caused us to be liable for a 75-cent charge at the exit window, and we didn't have it. So we frantically started running around looking for coins under vending machines, wherever we could find, just shy of begging people for that money. And my youngest brother, 7 years old at the time, ran up with a handful of change. We didn't even think to ask him where he found it. We just ran out to the car and got out the window before it increased to $1.50, at which point we would have had not enough money. It wasn't until that we were on our way home when we learned that it came from what he called the pool, or the wishing well fountain. We smile about that now, but at the time, we were ashamed. We were uninsured, and at our lowest point, our whole household was sick, and we sought health care at a clinic in the kitchen, which is a ministry then connected to the Missouri Hotel, where Sister Lorraine Vogel didn't judge us when she gave us the medication we needed. She simply said, "I love you. God has a plan for your life. How can I help you?" And my mother sobbed as Sister Lorraine embraced her. She has since passed away in 2015, leaving behind a tremendous legacy of hope and courage. Sister Lorraine has passed away, by the way. Hope is powerful. And I hope I never forget the feeling of being on the receiving end of kindness that I could not at that time repay. When my folks suddenly split up a few years earlier, I'd lost most of my academic work that semester and significantly damaged my high school GPA. I was in the bottom half of my high school class. My test scores were average, and my family was in crisis. I wasn't exactly a blue chip recruit for an elite institution like Drury. But I wanted Drury to want me, at least just enough to let me in. So I applied with a compelling letter that told my story. My mother, the most heroic person in my life, had taught me to write well, and before I could receive another denial letter, I began to literally knock on the door of a young Drury admissions counselor named Chip Parker. My mom was in college at the time, so I went there alone. A desperate and hungry 17-year-old kid. For months, he couldn't get rid of me. He wouldn't say yes, but he didn't say no either. Finally, in early February of my senior year in high school, I knocked on his door one last time. And I don't remember the specific words I said to Chip Parker that day, but I remember exactly what I felt, and through my eyes, I told him, "I know how this looks. And I'm an unlikely person to be here. You could tell me no, and your decision would be justified, but I'm asking that you look beyond my initial appearance and see the potential in me. And see that other people need me to make a difference in their life, and I commit to making that difference if you just give me this opportunity." That's what I said through my eyes. And at that moment, his face softened. And it was as though he said to me, "Okay, all right." A week later, I received this letter in the mail dated February 10th saying, "Dear Benjamin, It is my pleasure to inform you that you've been admitted to Drury College for the fall term of 1997. Classes will begin on Wednesday, August 27, 1997. You will be sent preparatory information regarding orientation, registration, and counseling. And goes on later to say, on behalf of the Admissions Council, we are pleased to welcome you as a member of our student body and look forward to having you with us. Please feel free to visit or correspond with our office if we may assist you in any way as you prepare to enter Drury College. It was one of the happiest days of my life. The academic consequences of those 4 difficult previous years were wiped clean and replaced with a new beginning. Is Chip Parker here? He's in Hong Kong. He's the man. I dove into my education at Drury. Getting involved on campus, I was a college cheerleader. Nice gym, by the way. Between practices and classes, I waited tables at a local restaurant. Believe it or not, they let me out of here several years later with a degree in English. All along the way, people helped me. Robert Wyatt, Charles Taylor, Ned Avery, Risa Willis, Pete Radecki, Cliff Petty, Karen Sweeney, Marilyn Moon, Mindy Downs, Scott McDonald, Scott Watson, Steve and Berna Prophet from the Potter's House, my family, my fraternity brothers, my friends, Samson Latchison, who led me to faith in Christ 19 years ago. Each helped me along the way. Years later, in 2007, I would attend this very graduation ceremony following the completion of my MBA degree at Drury. Over the decade that followed, I took my Drury education to Western Kansas, where I now lead a hospital that serves both generational families and new Americans, including immigrants, migrant workers, and refugees from 30 countries who work in one of the nation's largest beef packing plants run by Tyson. Our hospital has earned a national reputation for employing mission-hearted physicians who use some of their 10 weeks of paid time off each year to volunteer all over the world, which better equips them to serve the diverse needs of the folks right here at home on the mission field. Among those refugees is a man named Sang Bao, who came to my office several months ago. Sang is my age and is the father of 2 little girls that are the same ages as my daughters. He grew up in a remote village in Burma, Southeast Asia, where his people were being slaughtered by the Burmese government because of their race. While he was away at work in another town, his wife fled the country to avoid being captured by the Burmese police. Neither had a cell phone or a way to contact the other. 2 years later, they were suddenly reunited at a refugee camp in Malaysia. And later, came to the United States on refugee visas, seeking life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness, the same life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness that the people in uniform just stood up have been defending. He immediately started a very physical job at Tyson plant for $13.75 an hour. It's really good health insurance. And outside of work, he was involved in his church. He was helping to raise his 2 little girls. He was learning English. Sang Bao had done things the right way. He was in my office because he was experiencing kidney failure, and Tyson had been very good to him, but his employer-based health insurance would run out in May of 2019, and he desperately needed a kidney. He wasn't sure how I could help him, but he had heard that I was a friend to new Americans. As a father of 2 little girls, he shared his story with me through a translator, and I couldn't help but think, if this man was white, if he had money, if his insurance wasn't at risk, if he knew how to use his health insurance, if he could speak and understand and read and write English, if he had family nearby, if he was in a position of influence, would his outcome be different if he was me? And then it hit me. I was looking in the mirror. And through his eyes, this desperate man was saying to me, I know how this looks. I'm an unlikely person to be here, and you could tell me no, and your decision would be justified. But I'm asking that you look beyond my initial appearance and see the potential in me. See that after all we've been through, my wife still needs a husband, and my little girls still need their dad. That's what he said through his eyes. Sang was then connected with Katrina, one of our incredible hospital social workers, who, over a period of time, helped Sang secure a place on the kidney transplant list at the Midwest Transplant Center in Kansas City. He is now praying for a living donor. Each of you, hear me, worked hard to be able to sit in these chairs and walk across the stage, and you were to be commended for doing so. But you didn't get here alone. Other people helped you along the way. You now have an education from one of the most elite private universities in the American Midwest, and your sphere of influence will surely grow. John Sloan Dickey, former president of Dartmouth College, stated in his 1946 convocation address, "The world's troubles are your troubles, and there is nothing wrong with the world that better human beings cannot fix. Those better human beings are you and me, us." Will you now leverage your knowledge, gifts, influence, professional networks, resources to advocate for the least of these? Now that you've risen to this high place, will you send the elevator back down to give others the same ride upward and onward? In our U.S. Constitution are the beautiful words, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all people are created equal, but they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, and among these are life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness. More than 2 centuries later, those prophetic words are now staring us down. If these truths are self-evident in us, then we must each ask ourselves, what will I do to send that elevator back down? How does my vocation commit myself to this sacred work, and how do I steward my time outside of my work? In addition to making money, how will I commit to making the crooked ways straight? My mother did it. After she completed 2 degrees at MSU, she impacted the lives of hundreds of at-risk students over her 13 years and until her retirement at Studi Middle School. But there's still a whole lot of work to do. So as we say in West Kansas, let's get after it. Congratulations on this important life milestone. Thank you very much.